Job evaluation remains an important step as it involves the proper classification and pricing for the talent needed. This should not be confused with job analysis, which is more focused on the specific task and responsibilities related to a job. The job evaluation compares a role against other roles within the organization to determine the appropriate pay rate. There are 4 key methods of job evaluations used: the point factor, factor comparison, job ranking, and job classification. The point factor method uses a set of compensable factors which are identified as determining the worth of the jobs. This breaks down jobs into compensable factors identified during the job analysis. Typically, these factors include the major items such as the skill required to do the job, the overall responsibility of the role, the effort required, as well as the working conditions. Each factor is then divided into levels or degrees, which are then assigned points. Each job is then rated based upon the points awarded, resulting in a total point score for each role. Roles are then clustered by the total point scores and assigned to the appropriate wage and salary grades so that similarly rated jobs will be placed in the same wage and salary grade. This is considered a quantitative method as facts are used as the base of data to define a job. In the job ranking evaluation, the process places jobs in order of importance from highest to lowest. The most important job has the highest salary, and the least important would have the lowest. The goal is to award compensation to roles corresponding to their value to the organization. Another option is to classify jobs, which is to group them by common characteristics. Each job is then grouped into job classes, and roles are grouped into the grade that best matches the description. This method places a strong emphasis on the job's skill and complexity. An additional option is factor comparison, which uses parts of both ranking and the point method. It involves ranking each job using compensable factors and then assigning a monetary value to each factor to build a pay rate for each role. The goal in this method is to assign financial value to the relative parts of each job role. Once the role is classified appropriately, it would be assigned a pay range. Pay ranges set the upper and lower bounds of possible compensation for individuals whose jobs fall within a specific pay grade. Within the range is the salary midpoint, which is the middle point of a salary range's minimum and maximum. The salary midpoint should represent a competitive salary based on market data. When pay ranges are based on the total market rate, Compaq ratios are an indicator as how actual wages match, lead, or lag the target market. The Compaq ratio is defined as the percentage obtained by dividing the actual salary paid to an employee by the midpoint of the salary range for their position. A Compaq ratio of 80 to 87% is generally suitable for new, inexperienced, or unsatisfactory performing incumbents. A ratio from 88 to 95% is ideal for those gaining experience but possibly not yet fully competent in the role. A range of 96% to 103% generally reflects a fully competent professional. 104% to 111% will generally show those performing their job at a higher level than what's required. And finally, those at 112 or beyond are typically outstanding performers both inside and outside the organization, performing well above their expected level of performance. There may also be times where a pay rate could fall outside the given range. This could mean an employee is either compensated above the maximum or below the minimum for an established position. The first term is a red circle rate. This occurs when the rate of pay is above the range of the job. Essentially, they've exceeded the maximum compensation established for their role. An employee could also be paid under the minimum level for their role. This is considered a green circle rate, which occurs when the employee's rate of pay falls below the established minimum for their role. Pay compression may occur when the pay difference between employees with different levels of performance, skills, or seniority becomes relatively small or even non-existent. There are several reasons why this might occur, such as a specific skill set being in demand, which requires higher compensation. Pay compression is typically occurring because internal pay scales haven't kept up with the actual cost of labor or other outside factors. This often results in new hires with compensation above established employees within the organization. An organization may choose to use broadbanding to establish pay. This results in wide salary ranges within each pay grade. Broadbanding is a way that combines several salary grades or job classifications with narrow pay ranges into one band with a wider range spread. This leaves your organization with very wide salary bands within the structures. The midpoints within these bands are ill-defined because the range is simply so large. Once pay is established, it will likely change over time. In fact, most employees expect to receive salary increases after working a certain amount of time. Pay adjustments may occur based on performance, annual review cycles, or other triggering factors. Periodic review of compensation and outside market data is key to ensure an engaged workforce. Top performers who consistently exceed expectations expect to be paid a salary that reflects their hard work and is equal to their level of responsibility. If the organization cannot meet this expectation, there is the risk of losing talent. One type of an increase is merit increase. This is generally based on performance over the last year. In this model, top performers get a larger raise, while bottom performers get a smaller or potentially no raise. These raises are aimed to be motivational. Seniority can also be the basis for pay adjustments. In fact, in union environments, raises and promotions often are based upon seniority or tenure. Cost of living increases are another method aimed to keep up with inflation or increases in daily expenses. Organizations sometimes give raises to help offset inflation. Inflation is a process in our economy that raises prices on items like rent, food, or gasoline, so that a dollar buys less. Thus, employers often raise wages and salaries to compensate, and employees can maintain their buying power and lifestyle. This is usually called a cost of living adjustment. Market-based salary increases may be key when attracting new talent or to retain current employees based upon competitive market demand. In this structure, salary increases are usually added to base pay and may be called equity increases. This may be necessary if an employee possesses skills that have an increased market worth. Hazard pay may be included when employees may directly be exposed to hazards on the job. This is often additional pay for working in an environment that, from a safety or health point of view, is considered to be more risky. Hazard pay may be common for employees working in war zones or other high-risk areas. Shift differential allows for additional pay being offered for specific shifts. This could be an incentive for employees to work evenings or otherwise undesirable shifts. This is most frequently for specific work shifts and is common in the manufacturing industries. On-call pay or callback pay may be given if an employee can be called into work but is not working before receiving the call to return to work. With callback pay, the organization pays extra when the person is called back for an extra shift in the same workday. Another way to pay callback premiums might be to pay the employee for more hours than they actually worked, or possibly paying a set minimum set of hours regardless if they are worked. Reporting pay may occur when it's necessary to pay employees even when work is not performed. This is commonly given to employees who arrive for work as scheduled, but to find no work is available. This could mean a product's not in stock for assembly or other production issues. Travel pay can also apply in some situations. The normal commute between home and work are not compensable. In situations where an employee may be asked to travel between work sites, that time is usually compensable. This will generally only apply to non-exempt employees, and in addition, for payment of their time, they would likely also be reimbursed for items such as airfare, lodging, train fare, mileage, gasoline, or meals. Geographic differential pay is based on where the employee works and lives and aims to provide additional compensation to an employee to account for variations of cost of labors and cost of living between locations. This is common when an employee is being asked to work in an area with higher cost than their typical location. Incentive pay programs can also be engaging to the workforce. Under these programs, pay for performance beyond expectations is awarded and designed to motivate employees to perform at higher levels. Incentive pay is separate from base compensation and is more so in addition to base comp. Individual incentive plans reward an individual for their performance. This could be in the form of commissions, bonuses, or other financial awards. The incentive may also be non-monetary, such as a gift, trip, paid time off, or even an award or recognition. Group incentive programs can cover groups of employees as large as an entire agency or as small as a work unit or team. Group incentive plans can be for either short-term or long-term results. Examples of group incentive plans include gain-sharing plans and group performance incentives. In a gain-sharing plan, a portion of the gains an organization realizes from a group effort is shared with the group. With group performance incentives, a reward is given the group members for meeting or exceeding performance standards. There may also be organization-wide incentive plans where all employees participate in the benefit. In a cash profit sharing plan, the people who work for a company receive a direct share of the profits based on the company's earnings. Payments are provided in addition to the rate of pay based on the organization's profitability. In deferred profit sharing plans, the employer contributes a percentage of profits to employee accounts in a qualified, tax-deferred retirement plan. The value of the deferred account is distributed in the manner and at the time provided for in the governing plan document. The amount of money in the account is not taxed until the employee withdraws it. This has an aim of helping workers save for retirement and is a combination of a pension and retirement plan sponsored by employers. Some incentive plans are considered stock-based plans, which provide employees with a means of acquiring employer stock and are designed to encourage employees to invest in the organization and thus to give them, as shareholders, a financial stake in the future success of the organization. An organization's stock may be purchased or earned. One other method is a performance sharing plan, where employees can earn actual stock in their company. The company establishes specific financial objectives which, once achieved, will trigger the awarding of stock grants to employees. These plans use predetermined criteria and standards to measure the results and, based on that, create a fund available for incentive awards. The criteria could be factors other than profits, such as quality or customer satisfaction. An employee stock ownership plan, also known as an ESOP, is an employee benefit plan that gives workers ownership interest in the company. An ESOP plan is essentially a trust fund and may be leveraged or non-leveraged. In a leverage plan, the organization uses borrowed capital from its own credit and uses the money to fund the plan and purchase shares from the company's treasury. These shares are then used for the stock ownership plan, with the company subsequently paying back the original loan with annual contributions. This can be beneficial to small or mid-sized businesses, which typically have all or nearly their wealth tied up in their company. In a non-leveraged ESOP, the employer contributes stock or cash or provides the employee discounts to buy stock. A non-leveraged ESOP does not involve borrowed funds to acquire the sponsoring employer's stock. It is funded by contributions of cash or stock directly from the organization. This could include a direct purchase plan, which allows employees to buy shares in the company with their own money. This plan oftentimes allows employees to buy stock either at a discount or with matching shares from the company. Beyond the payroll department paying employees accurately and on time, the responsibilities of the payroll function go well beyond just the timely and accurate issuance of paychecks. The proper calculation of earnings is key. Payroll calculates the employee's gross earnings, which includes regular wages plus additional earnings such as tips, shift premiums, paid time off, bonuses, or overtime pay. Payroll accounting is how we monitor the company's payroll expenses. Through payroll accounting, we allocate wages, salaries, paycheck deductions, and other expenses to the correct financial accounts. We may perform periodic reconciliation to ensure accurate paychecks, tax reporting, and accounting. Each organization will also need to select a consistent pay frequency, or how often employees are paid. An employer could choose to pay employees every week, every 2 weeks, twice per month, or every month or some other period of time. This is called a pay period. A pay period cannot be longer than 1 month. The frequency of pay will be important in performing important payroll calculations. One key payroll calculation is determining taxable wages for federal and state purposes. The Internal Revenue Service defines taxable wages as all remuneration for services, which can also include non-cash benefits. All are taxable when paid. However, determining what's taxable and what's not can be complex and may change from one tax year to the next. What's considered taxable wages for state tax varies from state to state. An accurate accounting for taxable wages is important to ensure proper withholdings are conducted. Payroll will also need to properly withhold federal and state taxes, which can be done in different ways. The wage bracket method is based on wage bracket tables provided by the IRS. The percentage method is used in computerized payroll. In either case, issues such as pay frequency and withholding allowances affect the amount of federal tax to withhold. If supplemental wages such as bonuses or commissions are paid, they may be taxed differently. And again, state taxes will vary between states. Social Security and Medicare tax will also need withheld. The Social Security tax is a percentage, which does change periodically, of the employee's salary up to a yearly maximum. The employer also pays a matching tax amount. All employers are required to withhold and match up to the maximum each year, regardless of an employee's previous earnings with another employer. Medicare taxes, which are also based on a percentage of wages, are withheld with no yearly maximum. The employer also pays a matching amount of Medicare taxes. There may also be withholding of voluntary and involuntary deductions. Employees may authorize the payroll department to take amounts directly from their paychecks. Such voluntary deductions could include union dues, contributions towards health insurance, charitable contributions, or contributions to retirement programs. Involuntary deductions or wage attachments include items such as tax levies, court-ordered child support payments, and garnishments. Involuntary deductions are withheld from paychecks before voluntary ones. Failure to properly administer payroll duties can lead to inaccurate paychecks and financial reports, as well as being out of compliance with related federal, state, and local laws.